Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, oh boy, this is gonna be a fun one. I did some serious calculating and research for this video. I am sharing with you guys the high-end products that have the best value. We're not just talking about sticker price here. Sometimes that can be a bit misleading. I am sharing with you guys the products mostly from Sephora. I think one or two of these are from Ulta, but the high-end products that give you really good value. These are all great products that I love, but wait till we get into the details of how much each of these products cost, like per ounce or per gram. Some of these were shocking. We're gonna get into it, but before we do, a special welcome to any of my new visitors here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed today's video and I hope that you'll consider subscribing before you leave. Also, don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you know each time I upload a new video. And with that said, let's just get right into it. Okay, so I have a serious list here, you guys, of calculations, prices per ounce or per gram. Let's kick things off with some face products. So I looked at all my favorite high-end foundations, and the one that by far had the best value is the Dior Backstage Foundation. Now this foundation looks a lot like every other high-end foundation, but what you might not know if you don't pay attention to these kind of details is this has 1.6 ounces of product in it. That is quite a bit more than you typically get with any other foundation bottle. 90-ish% of foundation bottles include right around 1 ounce. So this one does have quite a bit more, but the price on this is not much different than other higher end foundations. So this foundation is $43 for the 50 milliliter bottle. That makes it 86 cents per milliliter. For a quick comparison, another favorite foundation from Sephora of mine is the Kosas foundation. Love that foundation. It has 1 ounce in the bottle. It is $42, includes 30 milliliters, which makes it $1.40 per milliliter. That is a pretty big difference. That's almost twice as expensive. As for the foundation itself, I do like this foundation a lot. It has great wear time, which I think is like the selling point for me on this foundation. It's pretty heat resistant, long wearing, kind of transfer proof. I have the shade 2N, which I won't lie is not an amazing shade match for me. It works for me, but I think the undertone's a little bit off, but I do like it and the value makes me like it even more. Next up, some concealers. I wanted to mention 2 concealers for you guys. One of these I like more than the other, but both of them I think have really good value. First off, probably the best value concealer at Sephora or Ulta is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. There is a half an ounce of concealer in this bottle. I have not seen another concealer product that has quite that much product inside. This one you can get for $34. The 0.5 ounces makes it 13 milliliters, which makes this one $2.62 per milliliter. I like this concealer. It's not my favorite concealer though. I do have very dry skin and this one is not the most, I wouldn't call it drying, but it doesn't hydrate my skin in the way that I feel like some other concealers that I like can. But if we're just talking about value, this one definitely gives you the best bang for your buck as far as how much product you're getting for the price. But another one that I love that I also think is good value is the Dior Forever Skin Concealer. You guys probably know that I love this concealer. It's been a longtime favorite of mine. It's been one of my favorites for years. I use the shade 1W. This concealer has 11 milliliters of product, which is 0.37 ounces. The sticker price on this one is a little bit more. It is $40. That makes this one $3.63 per milliliter. I know that's quite a bit more expensive than the Too Faced, but I do like this concealer more than I like the Too Faced, and it is a better value than other high-end concealers that I love. For example, you guys know I love the Kosas concealer. No knocks against this thing, but the price on this is pretty expensive. This one only gives you 6 milliliters of product. This one has 11, so almost double. It is $30, which makes it $5 per milliliter. So $3.63 per milliliter, $5 per milliliter. Pretty big price difference. Let's talk about the Say Glowy Super Gel. Now this product, I really love this. It's kind of a liquid highlighter slash glowy primer hybrid. You can use it either way. I actually like using this most as a highlighter beneath my foundation, something more medium coverage. So I like to apply this on the high points of my face, kind of down the center and then on the top of my cheekbones before I put my medium coverage foundation on. It gives such a beautiful glow. It is very, very pearly and glowy. But the reason I'm talking about it today, a little bit of this goes a long way. So this is the mini. This has a half an ounce in it. It is $16. I think that's a pretty good price for a half an ounce of a product that you don't need very much of. The biggest reason I wanted to give this a little shout out today is I noticed something when looking at this one. The full size of this, which is a full ounce, so double the amount, is $32, which is exactly double the amount. There is this thing that often happens with mini products where you pay a lot more for the mini per amount of product you're getting versus the full size, which is kind of a little trick they do to convince you to just buy the bigger one, which often works, I will admit, but it always leaves me just a tiny bit annoyed. So I was so happy to see that they didn't overprice the mini size to push you to get the full size. Maybe that's not a big deal to some people. I don't know that I have ever seen a brand do that. They almost always mark up the smaller one. So I just wanted to point that out today. I really appreciated that. And this is a great product, and $16, not a bad price. Let's go through bronzers next. So my best value bronzer is from NARS. This is the NARS Laguna Bronzing Cream. I use Laguna #2. You guys, the value on this thing is insane. You get more product than you could ever possibly need in this thing. And on top of that, it is one of the most pigmented cream bronzers that I own. I only need the tiniest amount of this product. I am wearing on my cheeks today, kind of up at the temples and underneath here. So let's go through the details on this. There are 19 grams of product in here. It is $38. That makes it $2 per gram. But to give you guys some reference points, I wanted to mention a couple other favorites of mine. The Fenty Cheeks Out Cream Bronzer. Love this one. I think I like the shade of this one even better than the NARS one. This one's pretty pricey though. This one is 6.23 grams total for $35, which makes it $5.61, way over double the price of the NARS. That said, I don't think in my lifetime, if I use this every day, I would probably still never burn through this whole thing because there's just so much in here. But I would very likely hit pan on this pretty fast if I used it every day. I also wanted to compare the NARS to my Charlotte Tilbury Cream Bronzer. Big fan of this one. It is very pricey. But surprisingly, the difference was not as significant as I thought it might be. This does also give you quite a bit of product. The Charlotte Tilbury has 21 grams of product inside. It is $58. Oh, that's painful, but that makes it a total of $2.76 per gram. So $2 per gram, $2.76 per gram. Not a huge difference. If you can get past that initial sticker shock, not too bad of a value. Kind of feeling a little better about the Charlotte Tilbury right now, but by far the Laguna, the NARS Laguna cream is the best bang for your buck. Sticking with creams, you guys might also know how much I love my cream blushes. I went through a lot of my favorites and I was kind of surprised by my findings. By far the ones that have the best value are the Persona cream blushes. I love these Dreamstick blushes from Persona. They have some really fantastic shades. Today I'm wearing a little bit of Teddy on the outer part of my cheek, and then right here, just on the apple, I have the shade Kiss. This has been a long time favorite of mine. Very intimidating looking shade, but just a tiny touch of this right at the apples just gives your cheeks this really beautiful brightness. I also love Bubble. You can do the same thing with this one. And then this is their newest shade, the shade Jam, which is a beautiful berry toned. I especially love this one in the fall. Great products. I love them, and I love them even more now that I know the price on these per amount of product. It's pretty amazing. So these have 9 grams of product inside. They are $26 a piece. That makes them $2.88 per gram. And to give you a reference point, let's compare those to my Milk Lip and Cheeks. You guys know I also love these. This is one of my favorite cream products. The one thing I want to note though, the Milk ones, not all of them, but this particular shade, the shade Work, this one does work better as a product I can use both on my cheeks and my lips. These are really more just for my cheeks. But that said, this one is $24. It includes 6 grams of product, which makes it $4.33 per gram. So that is quite a bit more expensive. You don't get as much product in those. And also just the shades of these Persona ones are so pigmented that I would imagine these would work for any skin tone. Whether you have the fairest of skin, you'll definitely need to be much more light-handed with them, but they can work for you whether you have very fair skin or a very deep skin tone. They're very bright and pigmented and poppy. So great value on these, great formulas. I feel like I fell in love with these all over again now that I have done these calculations. Let's talk about highlighters. So the best value I found in a high-end highlighter in my collection, which also happened to be one of my favorites, is the Nabla Ozone highlighter. This highlighter has 6.5 grams of product in it. It is $24, which makes it $3.70 per gram. This is such a beautiful highlighter. It is the one that I am wearing on my cheeks today. Really beautiful, kind of slightly pink, subtly icy champagne, beautiful, very intense, but a beautiful formula that's not too glittery. So I wanted to compare this one to my MAC Double Gleam. This one has 9 grams of product in it, but it is $40, which makes it $4.40 per gram. Not a huge difference. I love both these highlighters, but if I had to pick one, even before the value thing, I'd probably pick the Nabla. And you do get a little bit more bang for your buck with this one as well. Okay, I wanted to give a quick mention to the Tower 28 mascara. There is not necessarily more product in here, but it's $20, which is a pretty good price for a high-end mascara. Most higher-end mascaras are usually around $24 to $30 for a full-size tube. I think this is a better value, and Side note, this happens to be one of my all-time favorite mascaras right now. I absolutely love what this does for my lashes, also how it wears. Does not flake or run or smudge. It holds a curl really well, but it still removes relatively easy at night considering it's quite water resistant. Fantastic mascara. I will definitely be purchasing another tube of this once it runs out, which is probably gonna be pretty soon. All right, just a couple more things. I wanna talk about lip liners. You guys know of my obsession with lip liners over the last couple of years. I've discovered this new brand. Maybe you caught this one when it released. It kind of snuck under the radar for me. This is the brand About Face. This is actually Halsey's makeup brand. Not a lot of products in her line. She has some really interesting stuff, but I tried these out during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. They are actually not that expensive. I mean, I guess you could almost consider them between a high-end and a drugstore brand as far as their pricing goes, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're drugstore, so we're gonna count them today. But full price, these lip liners are $12 a piece. That is a great deal. You know I love my Charlotte Tilbury lip liners, but they are not cheap. I think these are $24 each. And I have to say, you guys, I like these just as much. They are absolutely budge proof, and they're also more creamy. The Charlotte Tilbury ones are kind of thick and waxy. They do last really well, but I find these ones to be a little bit easier to apply, a little bit more creamy. But as long as you kind of smudge them in and just let them sit there for 30 seconds before you top them with something like a lipstick or a lip gloss, they will not budge. And I also love the nude colors. These are the only three that I have tried so far. I love all three of these. So I'm actually wearing two of them on my lips today. I have this one, which is probably my favorite. This is the darkest one I have, Midnight Seduction. It's a very dark, kind of cool tone mauve. I like to use this one just in the smallest amount, right directly under the bottom of my lip, and then smudge it in. Sometimes I'll use it just a little bit on the top as well, just right at the V. Then I filled in my lips with this one, which is much lighter. This is the shade Happy Endings. This is a very almost concealery kind of nude lip, but it's not quite to that level. It's just a nice peachy nude if you like a lighter nude. These two combined together, so pretty. Just a little bit of gloss on top. And then this one is the shade Cradled. This is kind of in between. I would say it's more of like a brown peachy tone, also a little bit darker, also very, very pretty. I love these nude shades. Nude lip liners can be kind of tricky. I often find this, especially with drugstore nudes, that sometimes the undertones can be just a little bit off. Maybe they're too pink, or maybe they're too light, or maybe they're too dark or cool toned, or warm or orange or brown, or maybe too gray. These are all, I think, perfect nudes. I actually just ordered a couple more that are kind of in the nude range, so I'm really excited to try those out as well. But more than anything, these things, you guys, once they set down, they don't go anywhere. They will stay on all day. In fact, I've swatched these on the back of my hand before, and the next morning they're still on the back of my hand somewhat. Even through hand washings or just like living life with my hands, that's pretty amazing. And at 12 bucks for a higher end lip liner, really good value. Okay, last category, eyeshadows. This was shocking to me as I was going through and calculating some of these eyeshadow calculations. It was pretty fascinating, I'll just say that. So I want to share with you guys the best bang for your buck from a high-end brand. Unfortunately, this is not a brand that you can get at Sephora or Ulta. It's the brand Sydney Grace. You guys have heard me talk about them. I've always known that their palettes include much larger pan sizes. Their sticker prices are high-end though. Most of their eyeshadow palettes are usually around the $50 mark. But wow, when I calculated how many grams you get for what you pay, significant difference. It almost makes these like drugstore pricing. I calculated 3 different palettes from Sydney Grace, and they all had about the same price per ounce, or no, I did per gram. But let's just go through this one right here. This is the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. You guys know this is one of my all-time favorite palettes, the Enduring Love. This palette is $52. It has 30 grams of product inside, which makes it $1.73 per gram. So that is a lot of product, quite a bit more than you get from any of my other high-end palettes. But let's just go through a couple of them. I calculated the Patrick Ta palette. I actually don't have that one with me right now, but the Patrick Ta palette has 21 grams of product. It is $70. Oh, I think that might be one of the most expensive palettes that I own. That makes it $3.33 a gram. Quite a bit more expensive. But let's just go through a couple more. The Anastasia Beverly Hills, this one kind of surprised me. So the sticker price on this one, $55. It has 16 grams of product total inside. That makes it $3.43 per gram. Again, $1.73 a gram, $3.43 per gram. Pretty big difference. Then my Natasha Denona, my squeaky Natasha Denona palette. So this is the Glam palette. You guys know I love this one. This is $69. It has 19 grams of product inside, which makes it $3.63 per gram. So huge price difference when you really calculate out how much product you get. One thing I wanted to note that I was the most shocked by though was this. I grabbed my ColourPop That's Taupe palette. This palette has 9 grams of product inside. It is $14 for the palette. That makes this $1.55 per gram. That is not that far off from the Sydney Grace. $1.73 per gram, $1.55 per gram. Not too shabby. That's pretty shocking. Sydney Grace, priced closer to ColourPop than it is to something like Natasha Denona, but easily, quality-wise, can hang with Natasha Denona or Patrick Ta or ABH. So that's really exciting to me. Just one more reason for me to rave about Sydney Grace eyeshadows. One more thing, almost forgot lip glosses. So I initially thought that the Tower 28 lip gloss was going to be the winner for bang for your buck. Now this is not a bad value. The sticker price on this is more affordable. This thing is $16, but it includes 3.9 milliliters of product. That makes it $4.10 per milliliter. Then we have the Fenty lip gloss. I've known this for a while. This is the best value lip gloss at Sephora or Ulta, bar none. But again, today, even comparing it to the Tower 28, the value on this thing is insane. So the sticker price on this is $21. It includes a whopping 9 milliliters of product. That is a ton. That is way more than any other lip gloss that I own. That makes it just $2.33 per milliliter. Pretty amazing. Value-wise, that puts this in line with a lot of drugstore lip glosses. Highly recommend. I love the shade Sweet Mouth. This is my very favorite shade. I have like 3 other shades. They're minis, but this one is by far my favorite. When compared to all my other high-end glosses, this thing just knocks it out of the park. And that, you guys, is everything. Those are all of my best value products from high-end makeup brands. Did any of these surprise you guys? What about the eyeshadows? Were you shocked by some of those numbers? I was pretty shocked. Honestly, I thought ABH would be a little bit more competitive, but that's okay. I still love that palette. This may or may not be a big deal to everyone, but if value is important to you, if you want to get a lot of bang for your buck, hopefully this will help you to do that. But that is it for today. That's all I have for you guys. If you happen to know of any products from high-end brands that are really good value that I did not mention, I would love to hear those down below. Thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me give you one last reminder. Please subscribe before you leave, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.